Okie dokie, it's time for Obi-Wan Kenobi. That's right, we're looking at Season 1, Episode 1, Part 1. Welcome to Critical Weight Theory. Yes, Obi-Wan Kenobi, the limited series that pulls us back into the galaxy 10 years after Revenge of the Sith. And I've got a little confession to make. Are you ready for this? I've only watched the original three movies in the Star Wars trilogy. You know, the original trilogy. And I watched some other Star Wars movie at one point as well that I barely remember. But I'm familiar with the character of Darth Vader and his backstory, how he was originally a Jedi and all that kind of stuff. So I had a halfway decent idea of what was going to happen. Plus, this premiere episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi does have a nice little refresher course, a flashback sequence where you can see basically what happened previously. So by this point, the Empire is in full control, the Jedi Order is gone, and the man once known as General Kenobi is trying to disappear. So that's the basic setup here. It opens up on Tatooine. Obi-Wan lives as Ben Kenobi now. He works a day job, a regular Joe Schmo sort of job. He takes his pay, goes home, and tries to keep his world small. He watches over young Luke from a distance but never steps in. He's not the calm master that he previously was. He's worn down, unsure, and trying to bury everything he once was. The past is a wound that has never closed. Meanwhile, the Inquisitors sweep across the galaxy hunting whoever survived their little purge. When they land on Tatooine, they're looking for another Jedi named Nari. They're not looking for Obi-Wan Kenobi, technically. A, a character known as the Third Sister, Reva, has her own agenda, however. She wants Obi-Wan Kenobi. She wants him so badly that even her fellow Inquisitors think she's reckless because of it. And Nari finds Obi-Wan first. He begs for help, but Obi-Wan refuses. Obi-Wan holds the line that he has lived by for 10 long years. Stay hidden, stay quiet, don't stand up, and don't make a fuss. It's a choice that saves his life, but actually costs Nari his own life. The Empire slays Nari and displays his body in town as a warning. Far from Tatooine, we then meet young Leia on Alderaan. She's got a sharp mind, a brave heart, zero interest in staying inside the glittering life that's been laid out for her. Her confidence is already a problem for the people trying to shape her, and that's why she stands out. Reva sees that spark too. She hires mercenaries to kidnap young Leia. The plan is simple: pull the one thread that she knows Kenobi cannot ignore. And so that's actually a major part of the drama in this episode. And there's a character named Bail Organa who reaches out to Obi-Wan, first with a message, then in person. He asks Obi-Wan to rescue his daughter. Obi-Wan says no at first. He says the fight is over. He says he's not the man that Bail remembers. But he cannot walk away from this child. He's still a hero at heart. So he ends up joining the effort to rescue the kidnapped Leia. Obi-Wan digs up the box that he buried in the desert, the one that's holding the lightsaber he swore he would never draw again. And with that choice, Ben Kenobi stops running. Kenobi begins to return. Kenobi, oh my god. See, that's why I had to record so many takes of this, because I'm messing up all over the place. I just can't talk half the time. But anyway, the first episode is relatively quiet, and it's got sort of a heavy tone. It has themes about guilt, failure, and ambition, and the long shadow of a broken past. It gives us a galaxy ruled by fear and a Jedi who has forgotten what it feels like to believe in anything. It also gives us that spark that pulls him back into the world. Leia's kidnapping is not just a plot point, it's the thing that snaps him out of exile. And I know some of you're going to go after me for mispronouncing Leia right there, and go ahead, feel free to. I guess I kind of deserve it, but I just can't talk right. So, yes, that's one of the perils of recording an audio podcast episode is if you're constantly messing up, people will not want to listen to you, perhaps. And I can only record so many takes before I'm like, hell with it. I'm just going to run with this. So, anyway, part one sets the stage for the journey ahead. A man is haunted by the fall of his brother. A hunter is obsessed with dragging him into the open. There's a child who represents everything that the Empire fears, and a galaxy waiting for a Jedi to pick up his weapon again. So the episode promises that the road back will not be easy, but it will matter. This is supposed to be a sign that this character of Obi-Wan Kenobi is getting back into the swing of things. It's like he got his groove back, and he's a force to be reckoned with, perhaps still. And I've I did look up some reviews of the episode, and of course, some people are tearing it apart, as you might imagine. They don't like the way in which Leia was kidnapped, for example. They thought it wasn't scary enough, or something like that. I saw that as a talking point, that it was a lame chase scene and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I didn't really have a problem with that personally. I think I think it was an adequate episode. I didn't have any real critiques of it that suggested that it just sucks or something. I thought it was all right. I'm prepared to maybe eventually check out the other episodes and maybe find out what happens. That's one of the interesting things about a miniseries, is that it really is a little bit more episodic in how it's presented. So it's a little bit easier to take things into like bite-sized chunks, if you will. So also I like that the episode features Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. That was a little bit of a surprise. I didn't know he was in the episode. I know that he was, an actor for a certain amount of time. He even appears in Back to the Future Part 2, and he's in this movie that Charlie Sheen was in called The Chase, and of course some other things as well. And he's one of those people who has an instantly recognizable face. And here he's actually a bit of an understated actor. The performance wasn't that strong, I would say. It's almost more like a cameo. But you still will see and go, oh, hey, that's Flea. And that was one of the highlights for me. So, also Leia Organa, played by Vivian Lyra Blair, or Lyra Blair. I'm probably mispronouncing things all over the place. Anyway, despite her age, she shows a strong and resilient personality in her depiction of the character. So I think I think she did a good job, and I think Obi-Wan, as a sort of uh, terrible character at this point, sort of willfully terrible as a character. Like, he's turning his back on everybody. He doesn't even care about the future, apparently. But this one thing is possibly going to change his mind, and sort of create a redemption arc for him to be a hero again. So I thought that was a bit of an interesting element to the story. Although, frankly, the most interesting thing for me is the Leia character. You know, I think the events there are what would bring me back to watch future episodes of this series. Anyway, I don't have any more things to say. So yeah, that's about it. Have a good day.